Be like me and head to factormeals.com/kindafunny50 off and use code kindafunny50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor.
If you want to get our shows ad-free and our exclusive shows, go to patreon.com/kindafunny.
Today, in the nerdy news you need to know about, Schreier's report is in. PlayStation is abandoning PC. Ubisoft finally confirms Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, and Crimson Desert's review drama is giving shades of Cyberpunk 2077. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, March 4th, 2026. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the master of hype, Snowbike Mike.
Good morning, Greg. It is a lovely day. I get to see your smiling face. Everyone has returned to work. There's an energy now.
Oh, you said
right?
that with distaste. You said that with disgust.
I'll just know. I look back on Monday and it was like Mike and Greg bearing out here just feeding, looking for anyone's energy. Now they're all back, and I'm happy I can see them.
Yeah, it's nice to see Bless out there showing off those biceps, flexing.
Flexing on us is right.
You got a big day with Bless.
I got a huge day with Bless. We get to talk Resident Evil 9, look back on their big marathon stream, him and Andy. I want to know about some of the moments that really got them. You know what I mean? They play it off so cool. You know, I'm not scared.
Yeah.
I'm not screaming. What were the moments that got them? And then after that, me and Bless will return to the big table to play Magic the Gathering. A fun co-op mode, Greg. They got a new one, and it's a great way to get beginners back into it.
Are you using the turtles?
Easy way to learn. The turtles.
I love that.
It's really cool.
Yeah,
this one's really fun. We're going to do the turtle team up. So it's you versus like a deck of cards that are essentially a boss with an X amount of health, and then you play Magic against it.
The one thing, I know your reviews, obviously, Andy and Bless reviewing Resident Evil.
Yes.
Talking a bit about their stream, yada, yada. In the moments, I really haven't heard you officially weigh in. How did they do on ordering food?
Oh, thank you for asking me.
You're the expert.
They did a terrible job, a poor job this whole weekend at ordering food. I don't think they took more than 10 minutes to order food, Greg.
Awful. I didn't see any big TV screens. I didn't
no
see them looking at
TV
burgers.
screens. They ordered food once. They got pizza delivered without even telling anybody. Didn't ask me any about pizza.
Yeah.
Didn't ask you about pizza.
No, I was probably already gone,
Just
but yeah.
selfishly ordered pizza for themselves.
Wow.
But yeah, they did a really terrible job at ordering food. Me and Roger will give them that review today during their one-on-ones.
Good.
We're talking about that.
We're doing a weekly meeting. You should file the feedback for them that they did a bad job ordering pizza.
Not enough food was ordered here is right.
Everybody, we have a lot to get into, so let me remind you, if you want to be part of the show, Super Chat, youtube.com/kindafunnygames. You can sound off on the day's news with your thoughts, opinions, and more. Of course, you could also be like our Patreon producers on patreon.com/kindafunny. Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney the Psalm Twining, who keep the lights and mics on. For now, though, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news. 6 items on the Roper Report.
Baker's dozen.
We're not even using them at all anymore?
Nah, I just figure we wouldn't. You know.
They're resting today.
Yeah, this guy.
The left one is just not happy.
Yeah, he's not been doing it. He's not been doing it. Number 1, Sony pulls back from PlayStation games on PC. This is the one, the only, the Schreier guy, Jason Schreier at Bloomberg. Sony no longer plans to release its big PlayStation 5 games on PC, a major shift in strategy that sees the video game maker returning to console exclusivity for after 6 years of flirting with multi-platform releases, according to people familiar with the company's plans. Online games such as Marathon and Marvel Tokon Souls Fighting will still be released across multiple platforms, but single-player titles such as last year's samurai hit Ghost of Yote and the upcoming action game Saros, and Jason isn't putting here, but I'll say it, starring Supergirls, Rahul Kohli, will remain exclusive to PlayStation 5, said people who asked not to be identified because they weren't authorized to talk publicly about the company's strategy. The people cautioned that things could change in the future due to the unpredictable nature of the video game industry and that Sony's plans are constantly shifting. Mike, is the industry that unpredictable?
That's how every story feels like. Hey, at any moment, I could take this all back.
I believe it was Asher Sharma who said, the plan is the plan till it's not the plan. But in recent weeks, PlayStation scrapped plans to bring Ghost of Yotei and other internally developed games to PC. 2 games made by external developers but published by PlayStation, Death Stranding 2, and the upcoming Kenna Scars of Kosamura, will be planned for release on PC this year. A spokesperson for PlayStation declined to comment. There are likely a few reasons behind this shift. One is that several recent PlayStation games have not sold well on PC. A faction, I should say, within PlayStation has also expressed concern that releasing the games on PC risks damaging the console's brand. It will hurt sales of the PlayStation 5 and its successors, according to people familiar with Sony's inner workings. For decades, Sony's tactic of selling PlayStations was to keep tentpole franchises exclusive to its own consoles. In 2020, it pivoted and began bringing games to personal computers via Steam. Since then, the company has put most of its biggest franchises on PC, such as God of War and The Last of Us. But the strategy has been muddled and confused many players. Most PC releases arrived months or years after the games came to PlayStation. The cadence was never consistent, and the announcements appeared to be haphazard. The company also upset PC players by asking them to create a PSN, that's a PlayStation Network account, Greg, to access many of the games. Now, Sony is looking to take a more straightforward approach, going back to console exclusives. Another factor behind Sony's pivot may be Microsoft's next Xbox, which is rumored to use Windows and be capable of playing PC games. Some executives at PlayStation might not be thrilled at the prospect of one of the company's flagship games, like God of War, running on the next Xbox console.
Yeah.
Snow, Bike, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, Greg, this is a fun conversation to have because we talked about this last week with the rumor of Jason Schreier possibly putting out this story, and now here it is in full force. If we could talk about it, right, over the past 6 years, PlayStation has played with this. They flirted with the idea of putting out their games. I thought for sure we'd be getting more into the, hey, we've tested this. Now we want to get a little more solid with this, whether they be day and date, 6 months a year, and just kind of have a little more locked in. We like this. We love selling more games. Let's do this, right? Because as we constantly hear in the video game market, game price or making games are ballooning. Costs are through the roof, right? There's not enough gamers. We got to get to where the gamers are at, right? And so I thought a PC port, how much is that really getting put into dollar-wise to make and then sell? How much are they selling, right? And so I guess they're seeing the numbers. It's not enough to keep that going. Then on the flip side, we talk about console exclusivity, right? You have Xbox, who is absolutely down in the dumps right now. You want to get players over there. You say, hey, we're going to only sell these games on PlayStation. Now it's the time to start taking even more player base away from Xbox.
Yeah.
For sure.
Boot on the neck.
Yeah.
How much do you buy that has anything really to do with the next Xbox being a hybrid?
Just a little bit. Not like a huge amount, but just a little bit. Of course, I think the next Xbox sounds enticing when you say, hey, we could also put Steam games on this, right? That is something that PlayStation isn't doing. PlayStation is going to be just your normal Sony PlayStation box that will play the PlayStation games and third-party games. When Xbox says, hey, we are going to open this up and make it more like a home PC that you can put in your living room, right? I think players start to perk their ears up and go, oh, okay, that's kind of interesting. Now I can get PC games on my Xbox inside the living room. Like, that's what I want. But was there going to be a huge shift in the market that PlayStation players would leave and abandon PlayStation? Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's my take on it, really, is like to go from the bottom of the story back up to the top is like, I understand, as Jason, alludes to from talking to people, maybe some executives don't like that idea. I think if we were in reality, these PlayStation games coming to PC, if they were selling an additional 4 million, 5 million, 6, nobody gives a shit where you're playing them. Yeah. They're lighting cigars with $100 bills. I think this really comes down to what Jason leads with of like, listen, they aren't doing gangbuster numbers over there. So why, are you putting in the work to get them over there? And then why are you putting out something, again, even though Xbox is in such an interesting place, the flip-flop, the reverse of it, when Xbox publishes on PlayStation, the headlines on IGN are, Circana released data and the top seven of the top 10 games are made by Microsoft. Like, that's huge. Whereas PlayStation is, hey, concurrents aren't that great and they didn't sell this many units. And what are they doing? Why are they doing it? Let alone bringing in the message of we are doubling down and figuring out how we are going to focus on the console player.
Of course, and less excuses for any players to get lost on the PC market side of things, right?
Yeah.
I want more and more people to come back and stick with Sony, right? Of course, the more you launch on PC, the more Greg has an excuse of, well, PlayStation games are coming to PC. What if I just stuck with that, right? You got to make sure they're there. I think it is an interesting conversation, though, of like, we talk about the console market kind of stagnating and like not finding new players that we've heard Sarah Bond and Xbox talk about because it is dominated by PlayStation. But at the same time, if that market is just kind of getting stuck and plateauing, why aren't you going and chasing
because that's not where the money is. This morning, this news broke, and the one, the only Matt Piscatella, the numbers man from Circana, quote, Blue Sky, or BS, I'm sorry, that's a Blue Sky Tim himself, and said, going back to CFO Lin Tao's comments during Sony's February 5th earning call, quote, ... our hardware sales strategy can be adjusted flexibly, and we intend to minimize the impact of the increased memory costs on this segment going forward by prioritizing monetization of the install base. End quote. And Matt said back then, 27 days ago, very interesting, going to try to goose the ARPU even more, but how is the question? Here's your answer. Times are tough right now. This RAM thing sucks. We don't need to be worrying. Let's all of the agents that are out in the world, bring them home. Let's protect the home front of the PlayStation console, of the PlayStation fan base, which I do think they have over this generation really shed what PlayStation fans, what it meant to be a PlayStation fan. Like PlayStation 4 was such, PlayStation 3 into PlayStation 4, prime podcast beyond years. So of course, I am biased on it. Yeah. But PSX, what it meant, Adam Boyes, Jack Trenton, Shuhei Yoshida, Herman, like it felt like PlayStation had this identity that you glommed onto in a way of like, yeah, I rock with this thing.
Yeah, of course.
And now it is so PlayStation silo corporate. We publish games that do this thing. I think that identity would help them a lot in currently what you're trying to do of batten down the hatches and monetize the install base. But one of the way they're doing that obviously will be to make sure that they're selling as much on their PlayStation 5 as they can.
Of course.
Especially as this memory leak continues.
Me and Bless talked about that. Do you expect prices to go up in the PlayStation world then, right? We talked about them trying to monetize more of the player base to offset the price of RAM going through the roof. Now we talk about PlayStation exclusive only here. So you are now cutting off an extra revenue source here. Do you see yourself with PlayStation Online going up in pricing and those tiers going up like we saw with Game Pass?
Well, it went up not too long ago, right? In the grand scheme of things. I mean, I think all options are on the table. I think raising the price of the PlayStation 5 is probably more likely in terms of getting in that way and trying to do that. And again, that's punishing people who are coming in. Monetizing who you already have is a different conversation. But in terms of how you're doubling down and what you're doing, what are you having people make? You know what I mean? We're coming off of this God of War that wasn't a full-fledged God of War, but it was somebody experimenting with the IP. And while, yeah, I would say a lukewarm reaction to it, I still think PlayStation has more juice there of taking their established IP and working with a second-party studio to make something for them.
Of course. Do we see them chase more live service games?
No.
We see them slow that down.
No.
But we still put out multiplayer games. There's only so many that they have lined up, right? But do we see an influx?
If you are at PlayStation right now,
drop the negative word live service games.
Yeah.
Do we see them make more multiplayer games?
I say no. If you're at PlayStation right now and that, like, we talk all the time about trend chasing and what you're doing. If you are here ready to misread the tea leaves again and say, shit, things are going bad here. We need to keep people on the PlayStation ecosystem. I know what we'll do. 5 years from now, we'll have a dope multiplayer game. Absolutely the fuck not. You know what you do right now, Mike? You want to monetize the player base?
You make Horizon 4, Last of Us 3. You make Uncharted 5.
You remake the God of War trilogy.
But I mean right now, guys. I don't mean, you know what you do? You get on the phone to Fortnite, to Minecraft, to all these places, and you say, what exclusive value can we bring to a PlayStation audience? What is the pack? What is the thing? What is the stuff?
Rockstar, what can I do? What can I do, Rockstar?
Like, and that would be the dream, obviously. They're all holding their breath as the GTA gets here because they know what that'll do for that. But you go out there and you make fucking deals with people to make them understand, hey, we are the best place to play.
Give me that timed exclusivity.
Yeah.
Give me that special content pack.
Yep.
Let's make sure people know that they got to be over here.
Yeah, 100%. That's the way you got to go and do it. Now, the big elephant in the room, if you are a Kind of Funny fan, if you are a long-time Podcast Beyond, P.S. I Love You, Greg Miller person, what does this mean for everything? And Kebabs asked the question, Nix's is screwed, isn't it? Acquired in 2021. Oddly says, do you think Nix's will be shut down next? Let's jump into this. Of course, well, I'm sorry. BG25800 super chats. Where does this leave Nix's as a studio? You might not know what the fuck we're talking about, everybody.
who the
And that's
hell is that?
understandable. Who's Galactus? We go to the one, the only Joe Screbbles when he still worked at IGN. This is dated July 28th, 2021. PlayStation acquires Nix's, a PC porting specialist.
Oh, see ya.
As expected, there was this thing. PlayStation has acquired Nix's, a Dutch studio that specializes in porting games to PC, announced by head of PlayStation Studios, Herman Hulse. Nix's had been brought on for an undisclosed fee. The studio will provide high-quality in-house technical development capabilities for PlayStation Studios, according to a press release. Nix's has worked extensively with Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, and IO Interactive since forming in 1999, porting the recent Tomb Raider trilogy and two of the most recent Deus Ex games to PC. While no specifics have been given about the work for PlayStation, it feels likely that the studio will support Sony's increased focus on porting its console exclusives to PC. There was an update here, because I guess this was like rumored or whatever. As expected, it was acquired to help... As expected, Nix's was acquired to help Sony create PC ports. In an interview with Famitsu, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan said, via Google Translate, quote, "We are happy with our efforts to provide our IP to PCs, although it is still in its infancy, and we look forward to working with Nix's to help with that." Right now, Herman Hulse loading the shotgun, taking Nix's out back.
How many would this be with all the studios that they've acquired in the last 6 years?
Yeah, I was going to say that chart was...
We just talked about
yeah,
this.
that's true. Whenever they closed Blue Point, you go look at the Blue Point run a show, because we put it in there, I think, didn't we? I don't know. It doesn't matter for right now, but... Now, of course, what do you see when you dive back in there? There he is, Jim Ryan.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean?
We are riding the ship after what Jim Ryan took us on. The course that he took us on, we got to course correct on this.
I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking... everybody will remain nameless in this story, but they were talking about how every time PlayStation shoots itself in the foot, Microsoft shoots itself in the head. So it's like, Blue Point, oh my God, you fuckers. Phil, Sarah, this, AI, shit, what the fuck? Now we got this. Let's see what PlayStation does in Nix's to then see what else Microsoft can fucking do right afterwards to steal a spotlight. But again, for as much as you want to sit here about Xbox and go into Phil or Sarah, Xbox everywhere, every time we trace one of these, this is bad news, there's Jim Ryan. You don't see Jackie T out there. You don't see Jack Trenton's decisions ending badly.
My one hope, as we see here, they're doing additional work on Saros, which is coming out next month. So I would hope... I think the best case scenario here is that they start pivoting to just being a support studio.
And that would be the thing about it, where Nix's, from what we see and hear occasionally, is an incredibly talented studio. So to have been working this long on PlayStation architecture, I could easily see you are hanging out and you are just a support studio helping people get across that finish line.
Okay.
But I would not be stoked if I was over at Nix's right now hearing all this information. Mike.
Yeah, Greg.
Lucid Dream super chats and says, "Is it time to cut Herman Hulse loose?"
Really?
That's the question they're asking. I didn't ask him.
No, I don't believe so. I think he's trying to right the ship that we just talked about with Jim Ryan, and a big course correct is going to take some time. Yeah. I think you got to give him a little more time and grace here on this one.
I agree with that. Herman, I've known personally through this job the entire way, right, from coming on and talking to him about Killzone. An incredibly smart dude who does love games and does, I think, to me at least, speak to what that old PlayStation identity was. I do think that it's always hard, especially with a PlayStation in 2026 that is so closed off and quiet and doesn't talk, right? Even with a Herman, they don't have a Phil. They don't have him making the rounds and going on our podcast and the Giant Bomb Couch. And granted, saying stuff you go back, why don't they? Because every time Phil said something, he'd eventually go back on it 6 months and everyone would get mad. It's like, well, that's business, right? I do feel that, like, Herman was dealt a bad hand here as he is picking up the pieces of a bunch of decisions from Jim Ryan and that PlayStation that was, let's chase the trend, let's be the next Fortnite, let's make that happen. Now, that doesn't help you right now as you're closing studios and getting rid of this and doing all that stuff. And even in these articles, we have Herman in there saying it's a good thing, but it's not like he's had 100% control. And even now, it doesn't have 100% control throughout this. So it's like, I find it hard to blame him for this. I just feel like I wish there was someone at the head who was grabbing the wheel and being a little more Phil Spencer about it, but that's just not what PlayStation's identity is.
No, not at all.
Let me see a couple other super chats in here for you, okay? Don't get mad. Matt Sanders says PlayStation is getting back to more Japanese sensibilities.
Okay.
I mean, I think that's a broad brush. We'll see. I mean, I would like that. I would like that to be the point, right? These pitches love Sosa. Oh, like Sammy Sosa. Pitches like bitches. I see what it was.
Yeah.
I see where we're going with it. Returnal is an all-time favorite, and I'm considering holding off on Sorrows till PC. And Returnal was $70 on PlayStation 5 and $6 on PC. Maybe Sony sees red flags. Maybe. Did they say so that is still coming? I thought they just Jason said it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
And the upcoming Action Game Sorrows will remain exclusive to PS5. So unless I'm misreading what you're trying to say here, you ain't holding off till PC.
I wouldn't be holding your breath on that
I
one.
would say, Sammy Sosa, it's time to go over there and just fucking buy it on PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Do you also think that, I saw this on BS, that's a blue sky, Tim, from other people in the press of just like, this is PlayStation, I forget, God, I wish I had it pulled up, I'm sorry. I'm not going to name names because I can't remember, but it was, somebody was like, this is PlayStation saying they hate money. You are never going to get the PC fan to go buy a PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
So why not just take the
That's what I
moderate
thought.
returns
Yeah.
here?
That's what, when I woke up this morning and read that, my thought was, I thought we were over the 6 years learning about the PC market, trying to get in on that and seeing that
And now
PC
they've learned.
players wanted your games, right? But maybe they didn't want to wait a year and a half, right? What could you do to better satiate that audience? Because, and also, you got to mind you, what are the games they released out on that, right?
Old
the
stuff.
banger was going to be Spider-Man. They wanted Spider-Man. We knew that, right? Then you get into the conversations of like, well, what didn't do well, right? It's probably God of Wars are in the middle there. They're not Spider-Man level of hype, but they're in the middle, I think. I think probably Horizon, that was too late, came out there. And it's like, that's
Last
probably
of
on the
Us too,
lower
yeah.
tier of it all. So it just kind of depends on like, what are the game lineup? You're telling me Wolverine wouldn't go crazy on PC?
Day and date?
Yeah,
Yeah,
day
of
and date,
course.
or in the first 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, I think they just didn't test those kind of things because they didn't want to start flirting with the conversation of,
Because you're half in,
once-
half out.
Exactly.
Right.
Once you go too far, then they're going to start expecting it, and then they're going to get mad at you. But at the same time, it's like, I do need to really test the market and see, would they go crazy for a Wolverine, which we all know they would.
Yeah.
If this came out on PC, day and date, that would sell very well.
Yeah, but they want you to buy that box. Go over
Of course,
there.
they want that box.
Simple Jack says PlayStation saying they are moving away from PC, leaving $2 billion on the table, and also stating they want to monetize their users more means they expect customers to make up the gap. Count me out on that, Herman.
That's what me and Bless talked about, and I worry a little bit about that because I do think they're going to try to raise prices. How crazy will that be? We don't know, but yeah, you're cutting off a revenue source, and you got to find that revenue somewhere else.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, all these games are going to be exclusive to PlayStation. I think the thought process is, hey, Xbox is in the absolute gutter. These people will leave Xbox on this next generation. They're going to come here when we say nothing. You can't find any of these games anywhere but here. And that is exactly right. We saw that with PlayStation 4 into 5 now. Xbox One was the time when everybody left. It's like, this will happen again. This will be the next one of like, we're leaving Xbox for sure this next generation, and we're going to PlayStation. You're going to see a lot of that.
I think, yes, you're not wrong there. How many people do you think are going to make the jump to PC? That's always the real conversation here, right? And what I continue to hear from the kids, the parents of kids, right, is that all the kids are watching their favorite streamers play on PC and they're wanting PCs. And I know even Poe's son wanted a PC.
The kids want PCs, 100%, right? We're talking about an iPad and iPhone generation now that is growing up with like the tablets and the phones being anywhere. Now they're seeing people that they watch and admire. They want to be in the PC market of things. I think the Steam machine, if that was anywhere closer or more affordable, that would be the alternative there. And I think PlayStation's probably talking about that internally as well, of going, if this thing could absolutely explode in our face here, we can't let that happen. Let's make sure all of our games are here. Because, we're battling for living room space, right? We know what the PC looks like at the desktop, at the big desk and all the computers. Like, No, we're trying to be on the couch and be that other one right there, but at an affordable price.
Sort by First Name says PC gaming is a choice, not easy or cheap.
Yeah.
I don't think this makes PC gamers get into the PlayStation ecosystem. Just gives them no reason to become fans of their franchises. There's enough to play.
There's enough to play. Steam has plenty of games for you to go get lost in it.
And there's always a sale. There's always a sale. There's always some Steam sale going on.
And it's like people talk about PCs being very expensive. PCs on the lower end that you would be getting a child aren't as expensive as you think, right? You're not going to get them the Andy Cortez $1,200 to $3,000 PC, right? You are going into the Best Buys, finding that $500 to $700 Costco PC. Like we talk
Does it
too
run
much
Fortnite
about, like,
and does it run Roblox?
We talk way too much about like, oh man, PCs are super expensive. Walk into your local Costco and Best Buy. We're not buying the child a 5070 here. Like we're buying a very basic computer.
Costco does sell ones with really nice memory cards in there, or RTX cards. I love Costco. I digress. Mike, I love Costco. I love video games.
Yeah.
I love talking about video games.
Love video
I
games.
love Kind of Funny. I love our audience. And if you love us, audience, you should pick up your Kind of Funny membership. Patreon.com/kindoffunny, YouTube.com/kindoffunnygames, Apple or Spotify. You can pick up the membership. Get everything we do. That's more than 80 episodes a month, ad-free. Get your daily dose of me, Greg Miller, in a series we call Greg Way. And of course, get good karma for supporting an 11-person, 11-year-old small business. But right now, you're not using your benefits. So here's a word from our sponsor. This episode's brought to you by Factor, my go-to shortcut for great food fast. Cold days, big goals, and no time to cook? Factor makes healthy eating easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs. So eat well without the planning or cooking. I love Factor because I get to pick from 100 rotating meals, get them delivered to the studio, and then have a meal ready to eat in those precious few minutes I get between shows. Factor uses quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. Always fresh, never frozen, ready in about 2 minutes. No prep, no stress. What's not to love? Be like me. Head to factormeals.com/kindoffunny50 off and use code kindoffunny50 off to get 50% off and free breakfast for a year. Eat like a pro this month with Factor. New subscribers only, varies by plan, one free breakfast item per box for 1 year while subscription is active. And we're back. We go with breaking assets to Costco.com/gaming-computers.html. There you go. Look at this, Mike. All right. You're telling me little Billy doesn't want to get that $2,300 unit with a 5080 in there? A 5080 in there?
Little Billy is playing Roblox, Fortnite, and Minecraft. I can promise you they're not buying him that.
I mean, the mom and dad, they don't know what they're getting.
I saw someone Reddit. It's like the normies are only searching the internet. It's like, you do know Roblox can run on like a brick, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's
There
like,
you go. Look, a straight grand. You get an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060. Why not, little Billy? Don't you want to go play PC games with your friends?
So yeah, I mean, I think the PC market will be fine. Sony doing this.
Well, this memory leak shit, who knows?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a whole different situation.
Memory loss.
Yeah.
Thank you. I knew I was saying it wrong.
PlayStation doing this is a very interesting move. I think it's the right move for them and the console space. It's just an interesting one going into 2026, but with the memory loss that we're having.
The memory loss.
I mean, it's the right move.
All right, we move on to story number 2. Ubisoft finally confirms Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, the remake we all knew was coming. We go to IGN with Tom Phillips reporting. Ubisoft has just released the first piece of concept art for Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced, finally confirming its long-awaited remake that has been rumored for years. The company included the image in a blog post that offers more detail on the blockbuster franchise's future, including word that post-launch support for Assassin's Creed Shadows was being wound down. Ubisoft's focus is now firmly on the future, though the series' next all-new entry, Assassin's Creed codename Hex, sounds like it's still some ways off. In the meantime, then, Ubisoft has at last begun acknowledging its upcoming Assassin's Creed Black Flag remake, which is expected to arrive at some point later this year. Quote, "Speculation around Assassin's Creed is not new, but it's worth repeating, nothing is true everything is permitted, Ubisoft wrote. Well, except in this case, some whispers have been a little more wind in their sails. Some whispers have a little more wind in their sails. Keep your spyglass on the horizon, parrot emoji. I got more angry as I read that
Yeah,
quote.
of course.
Fucking speak fucking plainly. We're doing the fucking thing. And say it's coming out of this. Why are you dropping a parrot fucking emoji?
Yeah. Look through the spyglass.
Parrots hang out with pirates.
I'm aware. No, I know. I understand the references.
Keep your eye on the horizon.
Stop trying to be fucking fancy. If Yusef was still there, he would put a stop to this.
Yeah. Ubisoft just so lost. Like, what world are we living in? Just say it. Let's get this out there. We've had art books. We know this is happening. Just get it out there. Let's start. Maybe instead of this, the teasing stuff, let's start drumming up some excitement.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of losses. Are we really banking on Assassin's Creed Black Flag to try to fix the ship? It's not going to sink the ship. Like, are people going back to Assassin's Creed Black Flag?
They are expecting people to jump in and buy this because people love Black Flag. I love Black Flag. I don't know if I'll play a lot of Black Flag Resynced, but like, it's cool. But no, Ubisoft is clearly putting all their chips on this because it's all they fucking got.
That's all they got.
That's all they got. And I don't think many people. You say a lot of people love it, and I love it, and I get that, right? But in 2026, are we dropping everything that we're doing to go to this?
If they would have done that fucking, remember when they were, that was Prince of Persia when I thought they were.
Are sales going to be bonkers for this? What are sales really going to look like?
Good.
Yeah, solid.
Not meeting our expectations good?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably when it's like, this has got to save the entire fucking company until somebody else buys them or whatever weird splintering thing they're doing, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm annoyed by Ubisoft in general. Not even just them putting fucking parrots and trying to get wax poetic in their. Well, except in this case, some whispers.
So they're just holding off until
in their sails. Keep
summer
your
to announce
spyglass
this.
on the horizon.
Yeah, that's the like confusing thing here is like how they finally acknowledge this, which is I think a really weird first step for this as well. Because yeah, when do we get an actual first look at this game that isn't concept art for a remake of a game that just looks like concept art for the original game? You know.
And then, exactly, Barrett. So we're waiting until summer to announce this, and then we're going to get into the fall and get mixed up with Grand Theft Auto 6, the biggest entity on planet Earth. Is that the plan here from Ubisoft?
I don't know if they're going to get close to GTA 6, but I could see it being what Keely's thing is early June.
Yeah.
Could see announced for June, coming out August. Something like that.
I mean, I feel
there
like
were
this
rumors
has
that
got to
this
be
game
a fucking, you announce it and just release it, right? Are we going to do a whole fucking preview cycle and everything else?
Yeah.
There was a whole, I think the original plan was, at least through rumors, is that this was supposed to come out like a month ago or something like that. Like they were trying to get this out before the fiscal year ends. And so, yeah, it could just be a shadow drop or something like that wherever they finally showed off properly.
Ay. You know, Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed. What is left to say? How is this? You know what? Just fucking show the game.
Yeah.
Why are we doing concept art for a remake?
Yeah. The art book's out there. Somebody's got their hands on the art book already as well. We already know that. They got the art book.
Black Flag is the best-selling game in the Assassin's Creed franchise, with 15 million copies sold as of 2025.
There you go, eat that.
So,
Yeah, that was back in 2008 when it was hot.
well, no, it was 2013, but it was
Pirates never
also
die.
for it to still be the best-selling one, even with Valhalla and Shadow selling very well. I get the apprehension, but there is still a fervor for Assassin's Creed, especially for a fan favorite like Black Flag.
Story number 3. Let's dive into more news. Crimson Desert marketing director responds to review drama, quote, "We're not hiding anything," end quote. This is Ethan Gotch over Kotaku. Crimson Desert has been on a slow-rolling takeover of online gamer hype. Months of new footage and features trickling out. Capped off by a recent glowing pre-release assessment by Digital Foundry has players excited, but also worried that the hyper-polished looking sprawling open-world adventure game from a studio known for MMOs might be too good to be true. Underlying that concern is the recent news that the review embargo for Crimson Desert is only 24 hours before launch, and outlets that have received code have been told they can only get a code for the PC version. Is this another Cyberpunk 2077 situation? Quote, we're not hiding anything, and I'm sick of having to repeat myself. Pearl Abyss marketing director Will Powers wrote on X last night. Quote, I've repeated hundreds of times that we'll reveal things ahead of launch to give people adequate time to still pre-order the game for themselves. We're saying this openly, ... Let us cook, please and thank you, /rant. So end rant, end quote. Some are taking it as a sign that Pearl Abyss will release additional deep dives on Crimson Desert's console performance prior to release, maybe another Digital Foundry audit, but others are writing it off as quote-unquote bullshit PR spin, end quote. It's unclear what the holdup on console review codes might be. Games need to pass platform certification to come to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series /X/S. Any delay could signal that there are still last-minute issues being addressed before Pearl Abyss can get the console versions into the hands of reviewers. Quote, I don't think that's a good idea, wrote Rockstar and CD Projekt Red news account Video to Chook. Quote, CDPR did this and look what happened with Cyberpunk. I think being transparent and giving reviewers keys to the console version will show some confidence, end quote.
Damn. Who's that?
That was Video Tech UK. I apologize. Maybe intercap your name because I said Video to Chuck.
Exactly. To whoever that is, I guess I apologize. He did call you Video Kachuk, so I don't.
Here's the other thing. Maybe, if we're quoting a news account, Video Tech UK, put some spaces in there, some intercaps, or maybe have a fucking person assigned to it. So it's Greg Miller from Video Tech UK.
Let's get something going
Instead
on
of me
here.
having to read every night out here on this fucking show, I'm reading fucking Reddit comments all the time where it's like, Tootie Hooter is 69 and said this fucking review. Anyways, back to Crimson Desert. Where are you at with your expectations for this console? Of course, as this calls out, and we've said publicly, we are some of the reviewers who have Crimson Desert on PC. It's important to know that we are talking strictly about what we thought about this game before we ever got the review codes.
Okay.
You've heard me talk about Crimson Desert quite a lot on these shows. So we're going to talk that way rather than obviously spoil anything from the review embargo that does lift the day before. You can catch our review on the 17th.
Yeah, I mean, let's get real about this that we've seen up into this is there's so much excitement for the game that can do anything and everything, right? And there's so many questions of, can they do that? And then they put out a bunch of pre-launch information and videos, and you go, oh, wow, it might actually be doing just that, right?
Yeah.
And then you get very excited, and people want to know, is this going to run on my console, right? Too many times have we seen all these crazy PC specs, and then it comes to console, and it's not quite ready for the showtime of it all. And so, of course, people are a little worried or excited to find out how well is this going to run on console. And then when you hear on social media, hey, PR guy, it looks like you're not giving out Xbox consoles. What's the deal? And they're like, well, okay, this is how we're rolling this out. Then people start to steamroll that and get really worried.
So let's talk about a little thing called damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've answered in my career, but on a Greg way here, kind of funny of whatever, of like, I don't understand why you have to say you're playing redacted. Why can't you say what game you're playing? Why do you have to hide your activity? Why do PR and marketing companies want you to do that? Because this is the flip of it. The flip of it is that, to Will Powers, marketing director at Pearl Abyss, we're not hiding anything, and I'm sick of having to repeat myself. We had to go to a pre-briefing call. They gave us the codes, and they said, once you have the code, you're allowed to say you have it, and you can confirm the review, and you can confirm the time, and you can do all that stuff. And it's like, awesome. But then that opens a can of worms, where suddenly it is, well, I only have a PC code. Why? Well, they don't have consoles. And then it is just wild speculation now for 2 weeks of gamers who have been burned so many different times. And then you bring in the conversation of, as Ethan calls out here at some point, right, of like, the concern that the review embargo is the day before launch or whatever that lines up with like international launches, right? Another thing that back in the old days, right, IGN readers used to know.
They would know.
There's no review for this PlayStation or Xbox exclusive a week early. They're not confident in it. Something's going on, yada, yada, yada. That, I don't think, holds water anymore in this day and age. Review embargoes are all over the place. Nintendo's usually they release stuff usually on a Thursday, and usually you get a review on a Tuesday. Is a Wednesday wiggle room or whatever that much different? Everybody does their own thing in a different way. I don't think that's no longer a rule of thumb to follow in terms of like, oh, well, it's this, that, or the other.
But they've been trained on following that, so that's where we get,
And again, we have the code we're talking about beforehand. I am so fascinated and cannot wait to see what happens. I've talked openly about this when we saw it originally, and he's gliding in this. We're like, this game,
He's in a robot mech suit.
Everything.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? No way. Then you saw another trailer. No way. Then I played at SGF, and I was like, listen, control scheme was very complicated. They threw me into the deep end of this thing, but by the boss fight at the end, I was like, okay, I'm kind of feeling it. And then, of course, there's a preview cycle that just went up where people are interested in it. Pearl Abyss has been not hiding anything and putting up videos of here's what the game looks like and here's what you're doing and here's what's going on. They did the Digital Foundry thing. We talked about it recently, this article that popped of like, hey, PlayStation wanted timed exclusivity on this and they told them to kick rocks. We want to publish it everywhere. It's like, I have from the beginning been like, this looks too good to be true. And it looks every time we turn a corner that Pearl Abyss goes, well, we're going to prove it. We're going to prove it. We're going to prove it. And so the console thing here is interesting.
I mean,
scary. Again, you look at a game of how good it looks here running on PCs at whatever specs it's running at. You go, man, can they nail that on a thing? But there also is the convoluted thing we all know extremely well that, yeah, submissions on PlayStation, Xbox do take time. And as Will writes here, right, we're saying this openly, let us cook. It sounds like they're cooking down to the wire, which, of course, as we all know from the past in other games, has blown up in people's faces before, where you can't land that plane and you can't get it done. But I don't know. This is what I'm saying is, who knows what the fuck's about to happen? But you're seeing the other side of the coin, where we're going to say nothing and let you say nothing, or you can say you have it, you can say this, but then this kind of stuff happens.
Now we have weeks of speculation.
Yeah.
People are going to be talking about this. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, everybody's going to point to Cyberpunk, right? And then now we have to deal with refunds or people playing a broken game, right? And so, yeah, there's too many great games out right now to be upset and sad that, like, oh, man, I just bought this game and now I have to refund it or it's totally broken, when it's like, I could have just been playing X, Y, and Z and waited for this, right? And so,
in the live chat over here. Jun Dao says, I think the game went gold a month ago, ... LOL. I will also throw this out. In 2026, going gold means jack shit. Going gold and being like, we are content complete and that will be the disc you print doesn't matter anymore, because it's all about fucking, hey, guess what? We're going to have patches and this and that and day one things and yada. Like, yes, every developer nowadays goes gold and then works on bug squashing in that day one patch forever. And clearly, that's what you assume is happening with the console version, is that they are working down to the wire to get it as good as they can to put it out there. And clearly, again, we talk about what can you read from a review embargo and X, Y, and Z. Like, remember, for us in the press, and I'm talking not even about Pearl Abyss, but what the window they've given us here, no one is owed a review code. You don't need to do it. And frankly, the way y'all are foaming at the mouth for Crimson Desert, they could have said no review codes.
Yeah.
We want to do right by the fans and put it out there, yada, yada. Because, like, when we did the March game, every game coming in March, the fervor of people who are like, I bought a new PC for this game, was like, oh, shit, like, Crimson Desert's going to be just fine sales-wise if they have a review or not. The fact that they gave it to reviewers 2 weeks early, okay, you know what I mean? They got something to say, and they want you to get in there, and they want you to get into the figure out if you like it or not. So we'll see how it shakes out, but I am very interested to see where we get with, to this thing of what Ethan's reading between the tea leaves here of like, well, maybe they're still going, the way Will is talking in his tweet, maybe they are going to still put up videos of like, here it is running on a PlayStation 5, here it is running on this, whatever. Course. Maybe they do their own comparisons, maybe another Digital Foundry, et cetera, et cetera. What does that look like? What are review scores on this? X, Y, and Z. But yeah, Crimson Desert,
one of the most anticipated games of the year.
Crazy.
It's an excitement.
And that's my thing about it. As someone who, I would still say, and again, I'm making this very clear. I'm saying this as somebody pre-review code, because you've heard me talk about this on shows. I'm just repeating myself. As someone who doesn't fully believe, like I again, they keep showing up. I keep saying stuff and they keep putting out a video or doing the thing. Like they're trying to turn me. As someone who doesn't fully believe, I want them to nail this.
Yeah.
I want them to fucking crush this and just score the touchdown, be the homecoming king, run off, be carried off the field.
Yeah. Because
again, this isn't the story we see a lot in video games. Again, like this, clearly for Pearl Abyss, they want this to be their Witcher 3. They want this to be their breakout. Here we go. We've planted our flag. You may have known us from the MMOs. Now you know us as a team that can do something fucking incredible. And we didn't do the exclusivity, and we didn't do this thing, and we've been openly talking to you. Here we go. So I hope they crush it.
Could be a great story.
Could be a great
We will
story.
find out very soon.
Not that far. You know what I mean? Regular Special One says, I need to see it running on an Xbox Series S. You don't need to see anything running on an Xbox Series S. You know? I got that one over on my bookshelf. I look at it every so often. I'm like, oh, thank God.
I wanted the toaster.
I understand that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I wanted the toaster.
We move on to story number 4. Bungie details Marathon's post-launch seasons, which will be free and evolve gameplay. This is the one, the only Andy Robinson at VGC.news. Bungie has detailed Marathon's post-launch content, which it says will launch around 3 months per season. Will last, around 3 months per season. Be free to everyone and change the way players experience the game. Marathon is due to release as a premium title on PlayStation 5, Xbox, and PC this Thursday, March 5th. And for the time being at least, its new content will be made available for no additional cost. In an update detailing its post-launch plans, Bungie and Marathon's seasonal updates will introduce new gameplay, gear, runner shells, zones, events, and, quote-unquote, change the way you master survival, grow your power floor, and progress throughout a season, end quote. At launch, players will eventually unlock the game's 4th zone, Cryo Archive, an endgame area with puzzles to solve and vaults to unlock, Bungie said. Then, in the second half of March, a ranked mode will unlock, allowing players to obtain valuable loot rewards. Bungie has also offered some details on what to expect in Marathon Season 2, which will be called Nightfall. That sounds familiar. Quote, your activities on the Lost Colony have not gone unnoticed, and the UESC are stepping up their security measures in responding in force to your criminal activities, end quote, it said. Each season of Marathon will have a different theme and a unique combination of new features, content, and stories that continue to evolve the world and gameplay. We'll also be tuning all of our loot and progression systems, creating space for new metas and ways of play to emerge, end quote. Each season will introduce new ways to play existing zones, the developer claimed. For example, Season 2 will feature a nighttime version of Dire Marsh. In addition to its next runner shell, new weapons, mods, cores, contracts, and more. Mike, Highguard's body isn't even cold yet. And here we come, running in as Marathon, as Bungie, with something to prove, Concord hot on the tip of tongue, yada, yada, yada. First off, what's your expectation for how Marathon is going to do, the audience it's going to find, and then what about this?
Yeah, we'll flip it. We'll talk about this first.
Got
right?
it.
This is exactly what you want to hear. We're 2 days from launch. Everyone nowadays in 2026 says, what is the roadmap? What is the content I can look forward to? I'm already invested in your game from the server slam or on day one. I want to know what's next. We always talk about this. Players are going to dive in. They're going to eat up every piece of content you have, and they're going to say, what is next? And so you have to have that answer right away, if not beforehand, just like they're doing now. And they're doing the right thing. They're saying the right things, right? Content is free for everybody, which means the player base is going to stick together. You don't want to start segmenting the player base and having people get lost because they didn't buy the DLC.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Big deal.
Now in this stuff. So this all looks good, sounds right? Everything we're talking about from 3 months per season, that's on par with the course of live service games. That's exactly what we want to see. A ranked mode for the sweats out there to grind and get better at. That's what you want to see. A map with puzzle and raid-like mechanics. That's exciting and different, right? That's what you want to see in these kind of games, is how do you continue to elevate the gameplay, make it more stimulating when you're playing it, make it more of a team-focused game of we got to do X, Y, and Z to achieve a goal. That's fun, instead of just running around and doing the bare minimum.
Pew, pew. Yeah.
On the flip side, right, how do I think Concord will do?
Nope, Marathon.
A Marathon, thank you. I left Marathon a mixed bag of emotions, and we talked about this yesterday on the podcast, and Paris wanted to call in because Paris is high on this, right? And Andy was high on this. I was like, hey, there's a lot of Bungie core here that is so great, right?
Core.
Bungie does a great job creating a world. They have awesome first-person shooting gameplay, feel, movement. All of that is great, right? But during my time of playing, there was too many times where it was just boring. There was 10 to 12-minute segments where we weren't clashing with the team. We were just fighting the AI bots, or we were just walking around aimlessly. Like, it just wasn't a fun time for me. And so I left it going, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know where I really stand.
Is Washi going to play it with you?
Oh, absolutely not. No, Washi is washed though. He's washed. Like now you look to others and see if they're into it, right? But for me, this is my probably second most anticipated game of the year, conversation-wise. Where does Bungie land this, right? Because there's so much weighing on this for Bungie and PlayStation, and there is so much anticipation for this coming hot off of Arc Raiders, Concord, High Guard, right? This conversation of live service, first-person shooter, multiplayer games is so hotly just talked about, and you either for it or against it. You hate it. You love it. You want to see things fail. It's very weird out there. But, like, will this game land will be very interesting. I think it's going to have a much better launch and probably road than High Guard. I think there will be a player base that sticks with this.
Okay.
I don't see a world where we look at Marathon 2 weeks from now and go, they lost 90% of their player base.
Okay.
But also, my prediction here is we see a world where they have more than 75% of the player base. I think it dips to about 50, maybe 40, but I think they have a more of a roadmap, more of longevity than what we saw with High Guard.
Do you think it's something that sticks around?
I think you get a year out of Marathon.
Okay.
Of like, you get a full year of like, hey, you have time and grace here to build off of this, to learn what the community likes and dislikes, to build and continue to hopefully a year from now, it can either be a different game that people want or still be a great game that people love.
Okay.
So it's kind of right down the middle of the road.
We wait with bated breath, of course. Like we said, this is coming out Thursday, March 5th. That is tomorrow. Mike, it comes out tomorrow.
If you're in the know, you're in the know. We just had a whole weekend with it.
No, I don't even mean like. I just think it's crazy that it's out tomorrow. It's not me saying.
Yeah.
I've heard about Marathon. Obviously, it's not me, so
Of
it's
course.
not. It's not my kind of game. So I'm not going to be like all about.
Yeah, I mean, we will see. Arc Raiders is still red hot, Greg, right? Like,
crazy.
People want to
Good for
continue
them.
and stick around with Arc Raiders. Overwatch is hot right now. There's so many games competing in this. We had such a great conversation about this yesterday with High Guard of like that AAA space of first-person shooters is so intense and like it is hard to break into that space. And here it is, Bungie, the team that, of course, known for their Halo legacy, but really known right now for Destiny and what they did with the live service MMO first-person shooter type vibe of a game, right? Now they're saying, hey, we're doing an extraction shooter, and we're kind of betting the farm on this. That's a fun conversation to have.
So now I want to get inside baseball with you. Are you down for that?
Let's get a little bit deeper
thing here. Tomorrow, Marathon comes out.
Yeah.
You, Andy, Nick, the Jabroni boys.
Yeah.
Riding the bench so we can play Pokopia. Then Friday, you're like, okay, well, sure. Friday, me and Joey do the Games Cast Plays, do Pokopia. Friday, you, somebody else, Nick. I'm going to try to get out of the thing I have to come do.
Yeah.
We're doing a Pokopia server. Yeah. Is this a comment on how much Kind of Funny cares about Marathon?
Yeah, this is a comment on Kind of Funny and like the interest in Marathon, right?
Yeah.
Of like, our team is not the diehard first-person shooter team.
Mm-hmm.
We were back in the day with Call of Duty Warzone, but I think we have flown and changed on how we want to put out content, what games we want to play, what games we engage with the most. And right now,
to be clear, don't get me wrong. I'm not. I think Pokopia is the right call.
But
I
like,
just want to talk about
the team is not like, hey, we're playing Marathon.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's very much of like, Mike wants to sweat in Marathon. Nick really isn't engaged and interested in extraction shooters. He'll come along for the ride.
Yeah.
Andy is 50-50 on he's playing Witcher 3 for the 50th time. We don't know what Andy's doing, right? So it's like,
It's famously his first
when
time.
I look at the
But it's more
team,
the thing
I'm
where
like,
he calls me I'm sick. I can't come to work, and then I see him streaming.
are you ready to sweat? And the team is not ready to sweat like that. And so we choose
get out
games
there,
that we want to put out
we
fun
wanna play with some
content with.
Bulbasaurs.
And we want to, hey, you're telling me there's a Minecraft Pokemon video game? Yeah, we're going to play that.
Let's do it.
We're going to play that.
Story number 5 on the Roper Report. The Trump administration debates allowing Tencent to keep its gaming stakes. We read from the Financial Times reports via Reuters. The White House is debating whether to allow Tencent to keep its stakes in major video game groups as U.S. President Donald Trump prepares to meet Chinese President, it's Jinping, all right? But you don't put the G on. Jinping, okay. In China in April, the Financial Times reported on Tuesday. Top officials have held internal meetings to assess whether Tencent's investments in U.S. and Finnish gaming firms pose a national security risk, the newspaper said, citing several people familiar with the deliberations. A meeting among several cabinet officials scheduled for Tuesday to review the issue was postponed due to scheduling issues, the Financial Times said. Reuters could not immediately verify the report. The White House and Tencent also did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment. Hong Kong listed Tencent holds a stake in video game developer Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, and owns Los Angeles-based Riot Games, the developer of League of Legends. In 2016, it bought a majority stake of Supercell, the Finnish mobile game developer behind Clash of Clans, for about $8.6 billion.
Yeah, Greg, I don't really know my feelings on this one. It's more like you show me, you go have that conversation, show me. I don't really love this.
This is TikTok all over again.
This is like, hey, they got your data. We want your data, actually, so we got to get involved here.
Before I even read this thing, because I don't want to, of course, regulation looking into these things, that's great. We're going to do it for the public investment from Saudi Arabia as well. Oh, no, they're working with Donald Trump's son-in-law? Of course we won't do that. Throw that what up you're trying to throw up here, Barrett? This is Imran Khan quoting the article. If I had to speculate, my guess at the order of operations here is Kushner and Saudi invest in EA. They like the prospective ROI and see more gaming companies like Riot as opportunities. They use Trump to force Tencent out with added xenophobia. They pick up the pieces financially. Oh, shocking. We could have seen that coming.
Yeah. Don't like
this
that.
fucking place.
Can't have anything good.
But at least we don't have to use pronouns anymore. Mike.
Yeah, Greg.
The fall of democracy and us setting an authoritarian regime is huge news. If I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I need to know about, where would I go?
This is huge news, man. I'd take you to our last news story, the We News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Number 6, the Wii News. Bithell Games, of course, friend of the show, Mike Bithell, has revealed a new game, Amber Spire. Amber Spire is out May 6th. Construct buildings, manage resources, and build in harmony with an alien ecology. Beneath the glow of a gas giant, Amber Spire will grow and prosper into a flourishing city atop the ruins of an abandoned moon. Wishlist now on Steam. Congratulations, Bithell. We love seeing you make
Congratulations. I love
always
a fun
doing something
city
different,
builder.
too.
Yeah.
He's always doing something different.
I'll tell you what, I wasn't going to peg him for this.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to guess on this one. I like it.
You got dice in there, too. You look
Hey,
nice.
my birthday, May 7th, I'll be playing this. I'm
Hell
checking
yeah.
it out.
Everhood Hunters has been announced for 2027. It's a roguelike based on the Everhood series. We have a trailer. Let's jump in there. I don't know what this is.
I don't know what the
Everhood.
Everhood series is.
I don't know what that is either.
Everhood, let me bring this up. Sorry, I think this was added in late.
I know EverQuest.
Everhood is very aesthetically very inspired by Undertale, but it's also like a rhythm game as well. People really liked the first game. I had the second game on my Fantasy Critic. I think maybe last year didn't do as well as the first game, but it's got its audience. Very quirky, weird world, and them leading into doing more kind of like rhythm stuff with a roguelike. Seems fun.
Yeah.
From GamesIndustry.biz, Baylor Games, maybe Balor Games, formerly known as Good Games Group, the company from former Humble Games staff, has acquired the entire Humble Games and Fire stock back catalog. Many required reading from Bless. Games Industry Biz has a full breakdown with interviews about how Baylor Games wants to invest in AAA video games. Huh. Okay, I like that. Resident Evil Requiem has sold over 5 million copies.
Damn.
That's what I'm talking
Great
about.
job.
Good job, Capcom. More games are being added to Nintendo Classics on March 10th. On Virtual Boy, you can get Mario's Tennis and Mario Clash. On Game Boy Advance, you can get Mario vs. Donkey Kong.
Okay.
From Noble, according to a new report from Origami, Unity is shutting down its office in France. Unity France has nearly 100 employees. Woof. And that's it for Wii News. Glad we ended on such a high note here,
Yeah.
talking about everything else.
Really took a wicked turn there on story 6.
You knew it would. You knew it would.
Took a wicked
What else is
turn.
left to say? The entire fucking thing is rigged.
Yeah.
Scorpion Brew says, I just got God of War Sons of Sparta's Platinum. I loved the story. 7.5. I love you all. Thank you for doing so much great content and getting me through the overnights.
Nice.
I respect the dedication of getting a platinum for a game that you admit is 7.5.
Hell yeah.
Also, yeah,
Yeah.
way to find the fun, way to play through it and have a good time.
I
Good
barely
for you.
like platinum in games that I love.
Yeah, exactly. How outrageous is that platinum? Did you even look at it, Barrett?
It seemed just like quick glance 100%ing the main campaign, and I think doing stuff in like the co-op boss rush roguelike, whatever the hell that mode is.
Okay. Foxy C says, I personally enjoyed Marathon's gameplay. I did find myself in PvP battles often, and the gunplay feels good. I have an issue with the UI as it feels messy.
Yeah, the UI is crazy, Greg. UI is crazy, Greg.
Raleigh says, has Andy used his honey pack yet?
That was his birthday present.
Has he used it?
I don't know.
Okay.
He wouldn't go to a basketball game with me.
Outrageous. What a fucking comment. Hundreds of Monkeys says, any risk of Sony delisting games already ported to PC? I wouldn't put it past them. ... Never say never, but I don't think that's at the top of their to-do.
No.
Let the money
Those titles
trickle
are
in.
so, yeah, insignificant.
Except for this one executive who's going, they're going to put it on Xbox and take a photo of it on the Xbox.
Yes.
Dolphin Corner says, little Billy wants to be like Nick with a good PC.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, they do.
And then our final two super chats are among our first super chats. The one, the only Radic super chats and says, birthday tax on behalf of my son who turned 7 today. Happy birthday, Carol. I love you, little buddy.
Happy birthday to Radic's son. No
Happy
doubt.
birthday, Carol.
Heck yeah.
7 years old.
What up, homie? Go have some fun.
Buy a gaming PC from Costco.
Tell your dad to buy you a gaming PC. Hell yeah.
He must have a great PC. Wonder Girl 109 says, Mike, please, when are you posting the rest of your Resident Evil 9 playthrough on YouTube?
Greg, you know the computer broke me this weekend.
I didn't know this.
I tried to get into my computer Duffy. Tried to become Andy. I tried to become Roger.
Mm-hmm.
I said to myself, I've made 9 parts of this playthrough, all about an hour long.
Yeah.
Pretty happy with that. Uploaded them all. And I said, you know what? Forget that. Let's just jam it all into one video. And so what did I do? Went to Adobe Premiere.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, this is the move. I exported it. Takes 7 hours. I get to the end. They say, no, this part doesn't work. They give you a bunch of code that you don't know what that means.
Nobody knows what that means.
So I look it up. I try it again. Same code. Do it a third time. Same code. Now this is this is 2 days in.
Yeah.
It's so big of a file that the computer doesn't have enough space for the file.
Oh.
And so then I start deleting parts out of it. It's still too big. So then I go to Roger. I go, Roger, what the hell, bro?
Yeah, of course.
He goes, Mike, you got to go to Shutter Encoder. Just merge them all there. Why are you exporting? I go, Roger, that's a brilliant idea. What do? I go to Shutter Encoder. I put all the 9. I put 9 in there. This thing is 575 gigabytes big.
What
It's a massive
are
file.
people walking you through like what settings you should be like clicking to make sure it's
making
not a 600?
40p videos. Okay,
Yeah,
these things
yeah.
are crystal clear. It's
Yeah.
like looking at Lake Tahoe sparkling.
Yeah,
So
you
then
can
what
do that
I
with AV1 encoding and not have it be 600 gigs, man.
What do I do, Greg? I take half of it. Take half.
Yeah.
225. We go. Here we go. We're cooking now.
Yeah.
Go to the second half. Put it together. No, that's 375.
Too much.
Ooh, I don't got
Do a
enough
third part.
space. So
Break
you
it
know
up
what I
again.
did? After 4 days, deleted it all. I said, I'm gonna go one by one. Just gonna go back to where I was.
When you talk to Roger and you're like, hey, was that a conversation here over coffee? Where you bugging him?
I text Roger and I go, how do you do that? Roger leaves me on red, of course. Roger, no
Fucking
help when it comes to
Roger. Okay.
making the size smaller. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
That's on Roger.
Mike, buy him a hot dog. I'll take him to In-N-Out. I'll put my body down, let him step on me over a puddle.
Step
then.
on
Take
me,
him
Daddy.
to box seats. you
Roger
know?
can't type in and just say, hey, Mike, to make the file size smaller because it's the size of your whole computer's memory.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Also, this computer's got nothing on it. Why is 300 gigs taken up?
Great question.
What's inside these 300 gigs?
Nobody knows.
I'm going to find them.
What's the
I'm gonna
size of
find
your solid state drive?
I don't know.
Okay.
I got if 300 is in there, I got 500 available. So it's clearly a terabyte, right? But then it's what's the 300? I go through it all. There's nothing that's that big. What's getting eaten up?
Go in there and do the thing where you go into Windows and then you put the greater than and the whatever gigabytes and then it shows you everything.
What a nightmare.
Are you exporting to the right, solid state drive or hard drive?
It just feels like Zoolander.
Sure.
The files are in the computer and you just want to smash this thing. That's why I keep it very simple.
Have you ever thought that maybe this is God punishing you for trying to make content outside of Kind of Funny?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah.
All those long nights?
Yeah.
Wasted.
Right.
You feel tired in the morning? Shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
You could have just stuck with Greg's side, just stuck around
Just
here.
make me money.
Exactly.
And then what do you have to worry about?
What
You
are
know
you
what I mean?
worried about, Mike? You're fine.
I thought the health insurance was kind of like that would keep you, motivated here. But if I have to remove that to get your 536 gigabytes of files, I'll do it if I have to. You know what I mean? Everybody, this has been another episode of Kind of Funny Games Daily. But our live programming day is far from over. of course, we're going to go from this into Andy and Bless's review of Resident Evil 9 Requiem, where they're going to have a good time there. After that, it's going to be in review Interstellar, our first time watching. I've been looking at yesterday, tomorrow. It fucks me up every time.
Oh.
So that we did. How did you weasel your way on 3 shows back to back? So
you tried to pull me off. I said, nah, I got it.
fucking hate you.
I'll
So
host.
it's Andy Requiem review. Then it's going to be the co-op experience for Magic, and that is your day because we're recording something else that isn't live. Everybody, like, subscribe, share, pick up a membership. Patreon.com/kindafunny, YouTube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple, Spotify, and of course, until next time. It's been our pleasure to serve you.